धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We are reading from the book Beyond Birth and Death by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we are in chapter number 5, which is the last chapter of this book, Associating with Krishna. If one gets something superior, he naturally gives up all inferior things. We want enjoyment, but impersonalism and voidism has created such an atmosphere that we have become addicted to material enjoyment. There must be enjoyment in connection with the Supreme Person, Purushaha Sah Paraha, whom we can see face to face. In the spiritual sky, we are able to speak personally with God, to play, to eat with Him, etc. All of this can be attained by bhaktya, transcendental loving service. However, this service must be without adulteration. That is to say, that we must love God without expecting material remuneration. Loving God to become one with Him is also a form of adulteration. Here Srila Prabhupada says, everybody wants to enjoy, right? Because the nature of the soul is to enjoy. Our real nature is to enjoy every moment, enjoy eternally. But because of some philosophies which have come up in this world, because of the over mental churning, mental speculation of some great people, some great philosopher, because of such philosophies like impersonalism, according to this philosophy, they accept God as a kind of Shakti, not a Vyakti. God has no form. He is formless. He is Nirakara. And another philosophy which says that there is no God. Everything becomes zero after you die. Because of these philosophies, people have become addicted to material enjoyment. Voidism says that after this life, there is nothing. You enjoy life to the fullest extent in this life itself. Because once you die, bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kutah punaragamano bhavet. Rinam krutva ghritam pivet yavat jivet sukham jivet. One Muni called as Charvaka Muni, who is the propagator of this philosophy of Vaidism, he says that Rinam Kritva Ghritam Pivet. You take debt from some people, take loan from people, take money from others, buy, beg, or borrow, but eat with butter, eat with ghee. Rinam Kritva Ghritam Pivet. Ghrita refers to the ghee. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. Anyhow you live, you beg, borrow, or steal, you live sukham jive. You live happily, enjoying all your material senses. Why? Because bhasmi bhutasya dehasya, once this body is dead and it is burnt to ashes, kutaha punaragamano bhavet. Who knows that you will come back again? Who has seen next life? Many people ask this question, right? So because of this, people are directed towards sense gratification. They think, who has seen previous life, who has seen next life, that's why enjoy this life. Because of such philosophies, people are misdirected towards material enjoyment. But there must be enjoyment in connection with the Supreme Person. The real enjoyment is there in connection with the Supreme Person, whom we can see face to face. In the spiritual sky, we are able to speak personally with God, sit with Him, eat with Him. All of this can be attained by devotional service. And that too, devotional service without adulteration. Without adulteration means there should be no desire of return in that service. So whenever in this world is like all the people are fruitive mentality people. Fruitive means if I do something, I should get something. If I give something, I should get something. This is called as fruitive mentality. Okay, what is there for me? If I have to do something for some situation or for someone, I will always look for what is there for me. When such is a situation in bhakti, you cannot attain perfection. You cannot get the mercy of Krishna. You cannot go to the spiritual world. We have to give up that fruitive mentality. Then only one can advance in bhakti, become a pure devotee, and go back to the spiritual world to enjoy the real happiness, not the false happiness, the temporary fluctuating happiness of this material world got through the temporary fluctuating material dead senses. Loving God to become one with Him is also a form of adulteration. Many people, they do bhakti, they are very absorbed in bhakti, but their goal is to become one with God. That is also another kind of sense. The impersonalists, they want to merge in the existence of God. And for that sake, they give up all material sense enjoyment. But again, when you have the desire to merge yourself in the Supreme Self, this is also again an adulteration in devotional service. This is not pure devotional service. One of the major differences between the spiritual sky and the material sky is that in the spiritual sky, the head or leader of the spiritual planets has no rival. In the spiritual world, there is no fight. In the spiritual world, there is no rivalry. That is why when Krishna desires to fight, he chooses some of his great exalted devotees, make them come down to this material world, become demons, rakshasas, and then he will fight with them. Because in the spiritual world, everybody is surrendered unto Krishna. Ekala Ishwara Krishna Ara Sava Bhritya. All others are his servants. He is the only master. There is no rivalry. So, in all cases, the predominating personality in the spiritual planets is a planetary expansion of Sri Krishna. The Supreme Lord and his multifarious manifestations preside over all the Vaikuntha planets. On Earth, for instance, there is rivalry for the position of president or prime minister. But in the spiritual sky, everyone acknowledges the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be supreme. Those who do not acknowledge him and attempt to rival him are placed into the material universe, which is just like a prison house. So, in the spiritual sky, everyone acknowledges the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be supreme. That is why there is no fight. There are no rivals. Those who do not acknowledge him and attempt to rival him are placed into the material universe, which is just like a prison house. So anybody who does not accept the servitorship, or those who rebel against the supremacy of the Supreme Lord and who think that they are also the independent enjoyers who can enjoy independent of the Supreme Lord Krishna, they are given a chance in this material world to lord over this material world, lord over the people here, try to become master, try to enjoy independently, and finally when they are frustrated, they will turn towards Krishna, who is the real enjoyer. So that is why when somebody comes to this material world and tries to enjoy his senses, the enjoyment in this material world is actually not enjoyment. It is actually suffering of the Atma. Because Atma is bereft of its real owner, real father, and the real enjoyment with that. So those who do not acknowledge the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, they attempt to rival with him and they are sent to this material world, because this material world is like a prison house. As in any city there is a prison, and the prison forms a very insignificant part of the whole city. So the material universe is a prison for the conditioned soul. It forms an insignificant part of the spiritual sky, but it is not outside the spiritual sky, just as a prison is not outside the city, right? So when one becomes a pure devotee, when one comes to the level of Shuddha Sattva, wherein he is constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord, Supreme Spirit, at that time he understands completely that there is nothing but Spirit, there is nothing but Krishna. There's a beautiful saying by Krishna himself in one of the Puranas. He says, sorry, that my pure devotees, they see in this world nothing but me. So the pure devotees of Lord Krishna, they see only Krishna. They don't see anything else in this world. But those who are non-devotees, they see everything but Krishna. This is the difference. Right? They see everything, but they don't see Krishna. But a pure devotee, what all that he sees is Krishna. So when you come to this pure devotional platform, there is no difference between material world and spiritual world. That is why Prahlad Maharaj, he prays to Lord Narsimha that there are so many conditioned souls who are committing sins. Let me suffer the consequences of their sin. Let me go to hell and suffer, provided with your blessings, I will remember your lotus feet. I will chant your holy names throughout. If I can chant your name always, even if I am in hell, I don't mind. So this is the platform of pure devotional service. That is why Srila Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha devotee, pure devotee of Lord Krishna, who descends directly from the planet of Lord Krishna, Goloka Vrindavana. He does not come here. Pure devotees don't come to this material world because of their karma. Just like Krishna doesn't come, he will not come to this material world because he has done some karma in the past life. No. Some foolish so-called spiritualists still believe in such things, that Krishna also comes into this material world because of his past karma. No. Krishna is the creator of this system of karma. And he is not in this, he is not bound by any karma. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, and those who fools who don't read Bhagavad Gita properly, they say Krishna also suffers and enjoys his karma. What a rascaldom. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Namam karmani limpanti name dveshosti na priyaha. My karma, my activities, my leela, they don't bind me. Namam karmani limpanti. And that is why I don't hate anyone. Name dveshosti na priyaha. And nobody is dear to me. All are equal to me. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na dveshosti na priyaha. Right? So when one comes to such spiritual platform, then for him, the material world and the spiritual world are both same. Because this material world is just a cloud in the spiritual sky. Spiritual sky is vast. And in that, a small cloud in the corner of the spiritual world forms just to give punishment to the rebellious souls, and that material, that is called as the material. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky are all liberated souls. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we are informed that their bodily features are exactly like God's. On some of these planets, God is manifested with 2 arms, and on others, he has 4. The inhabitants of these planets, like the Supreme Lord, also manifest 2 and 4 arms. And it is said that one cannot distinguish between them and the Supreme Person. So, in the spiritual world, there are different Vaikuntha planets. And in each planet, Krishna resides, his expansion resides. And either the expansion of the Lord has 4 hands, or sometimes in some planets has 2 hands also. And accordingly, all the residents of that Vaikuntha planet will have either 4 hands or 2 hands. So all the residents also look exactly like the Supreme Lord. The inhabitants of these planets, like the Supreme Lord, also manifest 2 or 4 arms. And it is said that one cannot distinguish between them and the Supreme Person. Right? Because both, they look alike. Their bodily hue, color is same. They wear the same kind of garments. They wear the same kind of jewels. And they have, if the expansion of the Supreme Lord leading that planet has 4 hands, all the residents also will have 4 hands. So it's very difficult to distinguish between the Supreme Lord and the devotees and the residents of the spiritual planets. In the spiritual world, there are 5 kinds of liberation. Sayujya Mukti is a form of liberation in which one merges into the impersonal existence of the Supreme Lord called Brahman. That's called as Sayujya Mukti. There are 5 kinds of liberation. The first one is Sayujya. Sayujya means the Atma who has performed devotional service with this desire will merge into the existence of the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Brahman, that is called as Brahman. And that kind of moksha is called as Sayujya Moksha. Another form of liberation is Sarupya Mukti, by which one receives features exactly like God's. That's called as Sarupya. Another is Salokya Mukti, by which one can live in the same planet with God. Salokya. Sayujya, Sarupya, Salokya. And then by Sarshti Mukti, one can have opulences similar to the Supreme Lord's. Sarshti. One gets the opulence same as that of the Supreme Lord. Another type enables one to remain always with God as one of his associates. That's called as Samipya Mukti. Samipa, right? Samipa means very close. So some devotees get liberation. What kind of liberation? They become the closest associates of the Supreme Lord. Another type of one enables one to remain always with God as one of his associates, just like Arjuna, who is always with Krishna as his friend. One can have any of these five forms of liberation, but of the five, the Sayujya Mukti, merging with the impersonal aspect, is not accepted by Vaishnava devotees. Those are Vaishnavas who want to perform loving devotional service unto Krishna. They want to see the Lord always face to face and perform loving devotional service unto Him. They don't want to merge with His effulgence and totally destroy the existence of the self. Vaishnava devotees do not desire this liberation. In fact, devotees, those who are pure devotees, they don't desire liberation at all. Whether they are in the, as I said, whether they are in the material world or in the spiritual world, both are same for them because their consciousness is always absorbed in Krishna. They are always chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because of this, they do not differentiate between Vaikuntha, Goloka, or the material world. Wherever they are devotees. That is why they don't even desire liberation. Just like Narada Muni. If he wants, within a moment he is in the Vaikuntha planets. If he wants, another moment he is in the Naraka. Another moment he is in the Swarga. Another moment he is in the material world. Another moment he is in the Goloka Vrindavan Dham. He is a pure devotee. He always chants Narad Muni Bajai Veena Radhika Ramana Name. So on his veena, which is gifted to him by Lord Krishna, he always plays and chants Radhika Ramana, Radhika Ramana. A Vaishnava wishes to worship God as he is and retain his separate individuality to serve him. Whereas the Mayavadi impersonal philosopher wishes to lose his individuality and merge into the existence of the Supreme. This merging is neither recommended by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita nor by the disciplic succession of Vaishnava philosophers. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote on this subject in his Shikshashtakam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishvare, bhavatad bhaktirahaitu kitvayi. This is what I refer to, that pure devotees, they don't even desire liberation, right? And the greatest example which was set for us about the peak of devotional service, about the topmost devotional service. That example was set by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the incarnation of Lord Krishna himself. In fact, he is not called as incarnation. He is Krishna himself in Shri Radha Bhave Gauravatar, who incarnated as a devotee in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he shows us what is pure devotional service. And as a pure devotee, he prays to Lord Krishna, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamai, mama janmani janmani shvare, bhavatad bhaktirahaitu kitvai. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is that I may have your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. So when one prays that birth after birth, let me have your causeless mercy of devotional service. This is asking the Lord for not giving him liberation. Birth after birth, I have to be here means what? No liberation. I'll remain in this material world taking birth after birth, but only blessing he is asking that I may have your causeless devotional service. That is my only ask. Otherwise, na dhanam, I don't ask for wealth, I don't ask for women, I don't ask for rich aristocratic birth. Right? I don't ask for name, fame, leadership in this world. Only I ask, the only thing I ask is that let me have causeless devotional service unto you, birth, janma, mama janmani, janmanishware, bhavatad, bhaktir ahaituki tvayi. Bhaktir ahaituki. Hetu means a cause, a reason, right? So in this material world, all the transactions are with a cause. Without a cause, we don't involve in any kind of transaction, right? Without anything for me, I don't do any transaction with anyone else. I always look for what is that for me. But bhaktir ahetuki means ahetu. Hetu is the cause, and ahetu means no cause. That is why it is called as causeless devotional. Don't ask for anything from Krishna. I just surrender myself unto Krishna and engage all my senses for the service of Lord Krishna. This is called as ahetuki. Here Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refers to birth after birth. When there is birth after birth, there is no liberation. In liberation, either one attains the spiritual planets or merges into the existence of the Supreme. In either case, there is no question of rebirth into the material world. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't care whether he is liberated or not. His only concern is to be engaged in Krishna consciousness, to serve the Supreme Lord. The devotee doesn't care where he is, nor does he care whether he is born in the animal society, human society, demigod society, or whatever. He only prays to God that he shall not forget him and that he will always be able to engage in his transcendental service. These are symptoms of pure devotion. Of course, a devotee, wherever he is, remains in the spiritual kingdom, even while in this material body. But he does not demand anything from God for his own personal elevation or comfort. Although Sri Krishna indicates that he can be easily reached by one who is devoted to him, there is an element of risk involved for the yogis who practice other methods of yoga. For them, he has given directions in Bhagavad Gita regarding the proper time to leave the gross body. So for the devotees, they don't bother what time they will die, what kind of devotional service they perform, whether they will be able to remember Krishna at the point of death or not. No, they just engage themselves in devotional service without any cause. But for those who are performing other kinds of devotional services, other kinds of yoga system, just like Ashtanga yoga system, Jnana yoga, Dhyana yoga, all these other yogis, they have a risk of not going back to Krishna, of not getting liberation. So for them, Krishna has given directions in Bhagavad Gita about proper time to leave the gross body. And devotees don't bother about this. This is for those who are not into pure devotional path. Yatra kale anavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginah prayata yantitam kalam vakshami bharatarshabha. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, one does or does not come back. Here Krishna indicates that if one is able to leave his body on a particular time, at a particular time, he can become liberated, never to return to this material world. On the other hand, he indicates that if one dies at another time, he has to return. There is this element of chance, but there is no question of chance for a devotee always in Krishna consciousness, for he is guaranteed entrance into the abode of Krishna by dint of his devotion to the Lord. Let's see what Krishna says. Agnir Jyotir Ahah Shuklah Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra prayata gachanti brahma brahma vido janah. Those who know the Supreme Brahman pass away from the world during the influence of the fiery God, in the light at an auspicious moment during the fortnight of the moon and the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So, those who know the Supreme Brahman, they pass away from this world during the influence of light, the fiery God, at an auspicious moment during the fortnight of the moon and the 6 months when the sun travels to the north. Right? So tomorrow, day after tomorrow is Sankranti, and from that day the Uttarayana starts. Uttarayana means the sun from tomorrow he starts rising, he slowly shifts himself, his rising position, he shifts towards the north side. That is called as Uttarayana. And Dakshinayana means towards the end of this, during June, July month, there is Dakshinayana starts. Krishna, the sun, Surya Narayana, he starts moving towards the southern direction, Dakshinayana. The sun spends 6 months on the northern side of the equator and 6 months on the southern side. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have information that as the planets are moving, so also the sun is moving. If one dies when the sun is situated in the northern hemisphere, he attains liberation. Dhumo, there are more conditions. The opposite, what is it? Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna shanmasa dakshinayanam tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate shukla krishne gatihyete jagatah shashvate mate ekaya yatyana vrittim anyaya vartate punah. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the moonless fortnight, or in the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, or who reaches the moon planet, again comes back. According to the Vedas, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when passes in darkness, he returns. So according to the Vedas, for people in general or for the yogis in general, they, if they pass away from this body, according to this situation, the certain given time and circumstances, they will not come back. But if they leave the body during the night time, during Ratri, during smoke time, Dhumo, Ratri, Tatha Krishna, Krishna Paksha means was the fortnight, the dark night, right? Shanmasa Dakshinayana during Dakshinayana, right? They, or if they travel to Chandramasam Jyotir, even if they have gone to the moon planet, they will come back. When one passes in light, he does not come back. And when one passes in darkness, he returns. This is all by chance. We do not know when we are going to die, and we may die accidentally at any time. But for one who is a bhakti yogi, who is established in Krishna consciousness, there is no question of chance. He is always sure. Naite Shriti Parthajanam Yogi Muhyati Kaschana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. The devotees who know these two paths, O Arjuna, are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. So further, with further verses, we will continue in our next session. Till then, thank you all for joining this session. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhupada.